In the comp plan to help us do better, being able to rebrand products, better new products coming through. I'm so excited. I'm not sure about how I'm going to start taking baths, but now I have to figure that out. So wonderful being in the room filled with entrepreneurs too. You guys probably know this, but the word entrepreneur actually comes from the French word entreprendre, which means someone who does something. So it's amazing to me how many people think they're entrepreneurs and they love thinking about it. But if you actually did something, you might actually be an entrepreneur. And then it's not a matter of just staying active and busy, but you actually have to do result-producing activities that are consistent with the calling on your life and the building of your business. So today, retailing and sales is really a critically important part of building your business. And some of you will be like, I don't like sales. Sales makes me feel uncomfortable. You're actually selling all the time. You do realize you could have shown up naked today. Some of us might have appreciated it, others of us would have been judgy, but you could have shown up naked. So you actually sold yourself as a professional, a business owner, somebody who wants to learn and be respected. So you're selling your brand as who you are and who you aren't. But it's a really important part of sales is that you also prospect the customer correctly, because let's say, for example, I'm a single guy and I'm prospecting a single lady. But I find out the single lady only is interested in other single ladies. That wouldn't be a good prospect for me to try to close the sale. I might actually be wasting my time with the wrong potential customer. She's not a customer. Got the idea? So there's this phrase called working with people who believe the way you believe. And so one of the things I'll encourage you to do with increasing your retail sales is if you find people who are already using supplements, it is much, much easier to convince people who are already currently choosing to use supplements and convert them over than it is to take somebody who's totally not in favor of supplements and try to convince them they should be. Work with people who believe the way you believe. Part of building that belief is sometimes just having a quick conversation with them. When you hear them say, oh, I love taking supplements, I go, really? You do know taking supplements doesn't change your health, but absorbing them does. I love telling people, oh my God, I don't take supplements, I absorb them. It shifts their mindset into a whole new conversation of, they never thought about that. And they're trying, they're buying the supplements, they're trying to be faithful with them. Guys are, we have a much harder time being consistent than the ladies. But the reality is that if they don't absorb them, they don't work. And absorption is directly related to the delivery system. So there's different elements of delivery. Tablet supplements have a very low absorption compared to the next level, gel capsules and chewables. And then you have sublingual drops. Then you have liquid isotonic. Then you have IV therapy. Now, IV therapy is the top delivery system, top absorption system. But it's inconvenient. You got to go down to the clinic. You got to pay for them to do it. And they have to access your veins again and again and again. That's not ideal. But you can take that same liquid isotonic solution, put it into a drinkable liquid form for us to ingest at the convenience of our home, and you can have a higher delivery system for potentially higher absorption without the inconvenience, the expense, and the negative health implications of IV therapy. When you increase the delivery system, you increase the absorption. And if you increase the absorption, you're going to get better patient outcomes, better customer outcomes. And, I guess this is an important point. And they're going to waste less money.
Yes.
When you're trying to figure out people's personality types, maybe they're frugal, maybe they don't like to spend money. Well, you know what those people get really annoyed by? Is the conversation about how much money they wasted and what didn't absorb. It's a nice angle to take on people to get them irritated and want to upgrade to a better absorption, better delivery system. When you drink or intake anything, it goes through your mouth, through your esophagus, through your stomach, and there's two parts of your intestines. The small intestines absorb nutrients. The large intestines primarily absorb water. So your small intestines, it's a tube, but it's got these little finger-like projections on the walls called microvilli. And at every single point on this finger is an absorption site. Now, most supplements are macro, they're too big, and so when they come in, they'll sit in and they'll only touch a certain amount of the absorption sites. It's limited. But liquid isotonic, the beauty of it is the particles are so small they can get up and down in all the valleys. So they're hitting so many more absorption sites, which gives them a chance to absorb. And that's why our company can tell us to effectively state we have a 90 to 95% delivery to the sites of absorption within 10 to 15 minutes. It is not 90 to 95% absorption, it's delivery. We can control delivery, we cannot control absorption. So don't say the wrong thing and get in trouble. Instead, we're going to deliver more to more access points, and people are going to absorb it better, and they're going to respond better. Thanks. Now, when you look at the label, and you see our isotonics have fructose D-glucose bond, one of the hidden secrets of isotonics is I scrutinized this company's line when I first was approached by this. I really scrutinized it. And I want to know, what's the D-glucose bond about? Well, you guys may or may not know this, but your liver has a 10-hour glucose storage reserve. So you eat dinner at night, you're up for a few hours, sleep for 7 or 8 hours. By the time morning kicks in, your liver is actually depleted of glucose, which makes it hungry in the morning. Ever heard breakfast is the most important meal of the day? Well, why are we told to take our liquid isotonics on an empty stomach first thing in the morning? It's because our body is hungry for glucose. The D-glucose bond initiates a fast uptake first thing in the morning. It's the most effective time to take them. Next thing I looked at, though, was fructose. What's fructose in here? Well, because when you deal with a liquid isotonic, it has to be stabilized either by a salt-based derivative or a sugar-based derivative. Everyone always says sugar's so bad. Sugar's in everything you eat. It's always converted or somehow dealt with. The concerns about it is when you have salt, it's going to taste nasty. Nobody's going to use that. So sugar's the other option. Well, when you deal with sugars, now you're looking at what's called the glycemic index. The glycemic index dictates how well your insulin levels are affected by what you're taking in. Our company is always trying to protect us with isotonic delivery. So which natural flavor and sugar would they use is the one on the lowest level of the glycemic index? Fructose. Natural fructose. Equal to 2 grapes per serving. So if you ever have a customer that says to you, oh my gosh, I couldn't possibly take any supplement that ever had any sugar in it whatsoever because I'm a diabetic. And I'll go, oh, that's awful. Can you eat grapes? And they'll say, oh yeah. I go, can you have 2 grapes? Would it be safe for you to have 4 grapes? 6? 8? Would your doctor let you eat 10 grapes at a moment, at a single sitting? Yeah, I could. He'd let me do 10 grapes. Cool, then you've just told me you could take up to 5 servings of isotonic and be totally safe. And it's 2 grapes per serving. This is how you take people who have an artificial objection that isn't real, and you let them know you have a different reality. You can actually benefit your health by using our supplements. You just didn't know that. Learning our product differentiators is really important because we already know isotonic has its own differentiator, but looking inside the isotonics themselves, you might look at something as like this is my clinic, my product wall, and you might be like, oh my gosh, this is overwhelming. There's too many products. How can I possibly learn about them all? Well, just start simple. One thing to consider is for calcium, listen to how great our company is. For calcium to absorb from your digestive system into your bloodstream, it requires a taxi cab driver called D3. In order to drive it from the bloodstream into the bone, it has a different taxi cab driver, K2. So for calcium to make it from your digestion to your bone for storage, it has to have D3 with K2. So what does our company offer? A D3 supplement? No. An isotonically delivered, no digestion required, D3 with K2 supplement. Fully comprehensive to make sure we don't just shove calcium into the bloodstream, we put it where it belongs. Our formulations are great, but then if I were to talk to you about brain health, you guys already know 15 to 20% of the weight of your brain is DHA from fish oils. So what if I were to tell you that the company loves you guys so much, they got you all a fresh plate of fish to eat right after this event. And they wanted to make sure in full preparations that they set it in the room next to us and it's waiting there for you. And to be sure they weren't going to be behind, they set it out there 3 days ago. So we're all going to be able to have a fresh plate of fish that was there from 3 days ago. Now, when you heard fresh plate of fish, you might have been grateful. Then you heard they set it out there 3 days ago. Why would you not be so grateful? Because the fish could be totally rancid, right? Well, fish oils, like fish, can be rancid. Our company knows this. Most people try to refrigerate their fish oils to keep them from going rancid, but you can't guarantee was refrigerated from the manufacturing plant to the store, to your house, from your house into your mouth. You can't guarantee that. You could be taking rancid fish oils. So what does our company do? We're better. We protect our customers, we protect ourselves by putting a natural preservative in it, vitamin E, inside the fish oil as a natural preservative that works so well. We don't even have to refrigerate our supplement, our omegas. And they put it right on the front label, but hardly any of you guys even talk about that. It's like the biggest differentiator of our omegas, besides the right concentrate and purity. We're protecting our customers at all times. It's a differentiator. Another differentiator. You guys know about curcumin, curcuminoids, turmeric. It's a cooking herb for Indian curries. You know, it's really great for detoxification, inflammation reduction. I wish we had a curcumin product, but we don't. We have a curcumin extreme. What's extreme about it? What's the differentiator? Is that there's two different forms of turmeric. One is called BCM95 that is 8 times more bioavailable than the regular turmeric. So our company puts BCM95, because it's curcumin extreme. Then we enhance it with selenium, broccoli seed extract, so it detoxes even better. So we have great differentiators of our curcumin that makes it a better product than other turmeric and curcumins. That's why it's extreme. BCM95 plus selenium and broccoli seed, curcumin extreme. What about our H2 tabs? Well, we talk about, people know about hydrogenating the body and how important that is for inflammation reduction. Well, we look at hydrogen bottles that are out there, and they're producing parts per million. They go up to, 5.4 parts per million? Hey, good job. Good job, hydrogen bottles. Yeah, our H2 tabs, we have 12 parts per million. 12. So we're already, and it's the convenience. You don't have to lug around a big thermos. You just take your freaking tabs with you and get to your restaurant, 8 to 10 ounces of water, throw them in there, and you're good to go. That's why you can put them in the isotonics, by the way. They work within 8 to 10 ounces. It doesn't change the isotonicity at all to put them in with the daily essentials. So you can combine these things together, but this is our differentiator. Once you know our differentiators, you can communicate with a whole different level of confidence. And I will tell you this, when I hear you guys talking about being scared of sales or of stages, like you don't ever want to get in front. I love the lunchtime get-togethers where you guys practice talking. Good job. You need to. But if any of you guys have a fear of public speaking, I want to encourage you with something. There's only one reason you have a fear of public speaking. Only one. Your focus is on the wrong person. It's almost always, well, I'm nervous. What if they don't like me? I'm scared. What if they laugh at me? What if they tell me I'm wrong? What if I have a heckler? Me, I almost cussed. That's bull. Don't focus on that. Think, I care enough about that person that I'm willing to say it not quite right to still get the same proper message over. And you remember when JR used to tell us,